This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the Crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show, Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. If this is your first time checking us out, we greatly appreciate you making us part of your Saturday morning. Rainy Saturday morning, that is. What's happening?
Scattered showers, by the way.
Scattered.
I don't know, that felt like the thing to say at the time.
It's crazy because how do you know if they're scattered if you can't be in, multiple places at once?
Where I'm supposed to be DJing at after this, they said it's bone dry over there.
Okay. I guess
one
phone call, you can find out, huh?
True. When I was driving in, it was sprinkling. So, perspective, wherever you are.
Okay. All right. How was you guys' week?
It
was good. Allergy-free week so far.
Oh, okay.
So, how
got you some meds, huh?
No, it just didn't kick my tail this week.
Cool.
2 weeks ago it did, though. It's crazy.
We got a lot to talk about today. President Biden, welcome Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs to the White House. We'll dive into that. And then 3-time Super Bowl champion Frank Clark. He's headed to the Denver Broncos just months after being cut by the Kansas City Chiefs. So we'll talk about that. Then Lionel Messi, he's going to join the Miami soccer team after leaving PSG. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I'll say you got to be excited about that one.
I am. And then PGA Tour, they've agreed to merge with the Saudi-backed rival Live Golf. Surprising. But we'll dive into that. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll have our sneakers of the week during our Hate It or Love It segment. Let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
President Biden welcomes Super Bowl champions Kansas City Chiefs in the White House. Steve got to see it firsthand in the flesh.
I did.
What were you guys' thoughts about the Chiefs going to the White House?
It was a cool experience. Like, I've been to DC a few times, but never, like, I've always seen it outside the gate. This time was able to go inside, and it was a surreal experience. I can say that. Secret Service is the real deal. And so, like, right before I got there, some of the press, they were telling me there's folks that actually just cover the White House, day in and day out. And they were like, yeah, just about an hour ago, someone tried to ram the gate. And I was like, what? And the lady was like, yeah, so a guy, he was dressed as a Nazi, said he was here to kill Biden. And I'm like, are you serious? And she said, yeah, this happens. This is a regular occurrence. You didn't know? I said, okay. All right, so get there. And then I got there a few hours early, like 4 hours early, actually. I didn't want any surprises. Like, no, we can't let you in. So I just got there a little earlier and decided to step into a press briefing. And it was pretty cool. I had no idea that the U.S. There was a sonic boom. It was the U.S. shot down a plane that was in restricted airspace. Yeah.
It was because the pilot was like unconscious or something.
That's what they say.
Okay.
That's what they say, but I heard differently. I don't want to cut us off.
We'll talk off there.
Yeah. But that's what they say. But yeah. So yeah, it was a great experience. It was cool to see just the inner workings of the White House, like the Oval Office and the Great Lawn, Lincoln Monument. Yeah, it was much different than you see on TV.
Yeah, it looks like it's where the magic happens. So how was the actual like press conference for the Chiefs?
That was cool. Biden spoke. It was so I, went down a rabbit hole and I started looking at like the previous press conferences of, teams that have been invited to the White House. Like I looked at the 90s Bulls, I looked at the Lakers, Patriots, they've been a number of times. So I just producer looking at it. But yeah, I went down a rabbit hole and started looking to see like how long it was because I made my flight for that night at 8 p.m.
Mhm.
And just wanted to see, would I be able to make my flight? Because it didn't start till 4 or 4:30. So it was only a 20-minute time.
Oh, it was that quick.
Yeah. I think the longest was LSU when they went, the LSU ladies, because one of their players fainted while she was
man.
while she was there. That was a big story too. She fainted while, the president was talking. So they had to postpone it for a little while. But it was only 20 minutes and it was really cool.
And I know, like, looking at social media and stuff like that, like, the guys were making TikToks and dancing. So what was that like to see people be like human beings and have fun and kick it in the White House in a place that, like, we look at as so professional and where the magic happens, like Q says?
It was interesting to see that because you get, like, all this seriousness buttoned up.
Yeah.
You see, the Secret Service, they're all hands like this. I didn't know that there's two different parts of Secret Service. Like there's the police part that guards like the outside, and then there's the guys in suits who are basically detectives. And so seeing them like light up to see Patrick Mahomes, I was like, ain't y'all supposed to be serious? Like, and to see a lot of like the press that are in Washington and on Capitol Hill, see them like with Mahomes jerseys on, Travis Kelce jerseys, and like so many folks that are there that have Kansas City ties. And like people that, my mom lives in Kansas City, or I go to Kansas City all the time. How, love the barbecue. Talk about Gates barbecue. A lot of people love Gates barbecue. Like that was a topic for a little while. But yeah, it was really awesome to see.
And you didn't get a chance to steal any classified documents, did you?
That's G14 classified. I can't tell you. Nah, but yeah, it was dope. And to see the guys just to be able to, let their hair down a little bit and not be so, like I said, buttoned up, and seeing them do TikToks, Juju Smith-Schuster, it was really dope. And funny real quick story. He came up to me and was like, "Man, I appreciate everything you did for me, this season. I appreciate the interviews. If I don't see you again, it's much love, man. Let's keep in contact." I was like, dang. So I never knew how much I actually mean to, the players and just talking to them. And that was really dope too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, Travis Kelce did try to steal the podium, even though Steve couldn't get any documents during their visit. Let's hear what he had to say.
So I've been waiting for this. Sorry.
Yeah, that was cool. It was a lot of people were just like, "Well, what was he getting ready to say?" And then yeah, but that was really dope too. Because so the way that the setup was, of course, it was outside on the Great Lawn. And you had family and friends on the right end, and like city councilman, the mayor, Senator Emmanuel Cleaver. Emmanuel Cleaver was there. Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver. Yes, Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver. And then you had the other players and staff and their families on the other side. And media were able to be like right down in the middle, which was actually pretty cool because we got to see both sides. So everyone had a great view of everything that was happening.
That's super dope. Wasn't a Chiefs parade moment for Travis.
It was.
It looks like Patrick saved him on that one.
It was. I don't know what he was going to say, though. That's the funny thing. And not only that, but one thing I did mention was that they have their bands that play, the concert band, and they were playing like some cool stuff. I was like, really? Presidential band playing this? Really?
What songs?
It was they played what's the song? Rock Little Uzi Vert.
Okay. Oh,
they played that. They played that.
For the Eagles.
Yes, they played it was some other stuff that they played too. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's dope. Now, 3-time Pro Bowler Frank Clark headed to Denver just months after being cut by the Chiefs. I know this was friend of the show, friend of ours. Steve, how are you feeling about this one?
Um, I don't know how to feel about this because I felt like Frank was going to take less to come back, just to be around. I mean, we've seen Chris Jones make post on Twitter about it. We've seen Frank become a part of the Kansas City community. Of course, he's from LA. He still has a house in LA, but once people come here, and a lot of not only just uh, those Chiefs athletes, but baseball too. I mean, they make Kansas City home. I mean, of course, it's cheaper to live here.
Yeah.
It's easier to raise a family here, and a lot of guys stay. Not saying that Frank was going to stay, but he embraced the Kansas City community, and not only that, he had love for Andy Reid and love for his teammates too. So it's going to be crazy to see him 2 times a year. He has a 1-year deal with the Broncos, but it's definitely going to be crazy to see.
Do you and this is a wild question to ask so early in the I mean, the season hadn't even started yet. Do you think he helps the defense? Does he strengthen their defense?
If they are able to, there's 2 parts to that question I want to answer, right? Like 2 answers I want to give you actually. So there's a regular season Frank Clark and then a postseason Frank Clark, 2 different players. From the regular season standpoint, he will be an asset to the locker room. He will be an asset to the young guys, the new draft picks, the young guys who are trying to make their way in the league. Like he was that for George Karlaftis this year. He embraced that during the regular season. Now, when the postseason comes, if they're able to get that far, he will definitely be the best player on their defense because or up there. Now I won't say the best player, but he'll be definitely a force to be reckoned with because that's when he turns it on.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just hoping that Sean Payton helps Russ turn that corner. Okay. Like I want to see Denver be a lot more competitive, especially in the AFC West.
Yeah.
They just stunk it up last year.
They did.
And I mean, a lot of my commentary was more directed at the fault was blamed on the coach.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think Sean Payton could turn it around, but I don't think we know how bad the culture has gotten in Denver. But again, I think Sean Payton could turn it around, and I want to see Russ more competitive. I don't want to see his career ending like it was last season.
Yeah. And then you look at their depth chart on the defense. I mean, you have Frank, you have DJ Jones, Zach Allen, and then you got, Pat Surtain, Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons. So, I mean, you got some pieces. I hope they don't expect Frank Clark to come in there and be the savior, right?
Why not?
Because he's older, right? Like he has some left in the tank, but I mean, Frank Clark has more time, in the past than he does going forward. Playing football. So I just hope that they don't expect, I know they have great expectations for him, but I just hope they don't expect him to be the end all be all for that defense.
Yeah.
Q, out of all the teams, were you surprised that it was Denver?
No. No, I'm not really surprised. I think Frank Clark wanted, I won't say he wanted to go just anywhere. But I don't know the market for Frank Clark. I'll say that because, like Steve said, he's got some age on him. But then, I mean, he also has the gun issue that he had. So some teams could look at that as a character issue, and also, really a maturity issue. I mean, do you want to pay a guy that makes that mistake so deep in his career after a Super Bowl run? But I think we saw Frank Clark mature a little bit more, especially after that. Just in a sense of, and you could probably speak to this, was he a lot less vocal around the locker room?
He was. Yeah, I most definitely. I said that last year and this past.
I felt
past
like
2 years.
from my observation, just
Yeah.
from the outside looking in, it looked like
do you remember Frank Clark on the 2019 Super Bowl run? Derrick Henry was writing checks that his ass can't cash. All that, you know, it was.
And
we didn't see that.
And he and Tyron. Well, I think Tyron was the rah-rah guy on the field. He was the energy guy on the field. I think Frank was that guy that was like rah-rah within the media.
Mhm.
Like I'm gonna, talk stuff to different players, different teams.
Yeah.
And I feel like after the incident, I feel like he wasn't that anymore.
Yeah. I think he was definitely still a leader in the locker room. Don't get me wrong, but I just think his image, if I can say that, like his image, he wanted to, be more mild-mannered.
Rehab it,
yeah. So I think he's getting back to that. Like, I mean, he's won 2 Super Bowls. He's back to being Frank on social media. He's still the Shark, Frank the Shark. So, but he's going to be able to make money. And I don't know if Denver, if he had any other options. When I see Frank, I'm definitely going to ask him, like, hey, did you have any other options? Because I mean, he's getting his contract, I think, is $7.5 million, and he's getting 5 of that guaranteed.
And that's what I wonder what the market is for him, because you look at, I mean, just even the list of free agents this year. DeAndre Hopkins, it's a couple of notable names at the top of that list that they are a little older in their career. They're within, like, I think it's like that 8 to 10 year window. But I just wonder what the market was for him, specifically. I mean, you have, I think Chase Young is up for trade. I mean, you have a few different, like, DN, interior D line guys that could find new homes. I don't know what other teams really had a thirst for. I mean, even Frank or that DN slot to fill it.
And to answer that, I think sometimes you have to pay to have a championship guy on your team.
Yeah, you
do. I mean, if you got to look at how many times have the Broncos beat the Chiefs since Patrick's been there, never. So you have to pay for that championship swagger. If like that's what Terrell Suggs brought to the Chiefs on their run. So you have to pay for that. And if you got to go over and above, I mean, the Waltons got a little money out there in Denver. They're able to spend. So you just have to pay it. And if it costs you $7 million to have a championship guy on your team and to have him in the locker room and to be able to kind of mold these guys and help not only the defense but the offense as well. Now Russ is another one. They had to pay for that, giving up all those draft picks. So now you're gonna have to try to do some things in free agency, and to beat, because this is a move that Frank knows the Chiefs offense. So this is a move that you go make and say, hey, we got to beat the Chiefs. Like, come hell or high water, this is what we need to do. So
good luck.
Right.
Messi to Miami. Lionel Messi to join MLS side with Miami after the PSG departure. Q, your thoughts on this one?
I would want more of you two's thoughts on this, because I mean, Messi coming and playing in an MLS league versus staying overseas, like how does that? I mean, is he making less money? Because I mean, we saw the what was his name? Was it Neymar that just signed?
The contract that's worth more than like some NFL franchises.
Yeah. Like,
insane.
How does that money compare what he signed with Miami versus what he would have been making in the EuroLeague?
Yeah, I don't know what the conversions are. I mean, of course, I saw a difference in the ticket sale prices. So that alone, I mean, I know like in the beginning, they said some of the tickets for those games were running like $97. And now the first game that he plays in Miami, the tickets are like $430.
Yeah, I was gonna say $400 to $500.
So jumps. So I mean, I don't know if that's anything in his contract percentages, stuff like that, but I'm sure it cleans house, especially like if you think about like the cost of living and stuff in Florida. I mean, that's one of the highest here in the United States. So I don't know. I don't know what the exact comparison is.
And what do you think this does for the league as a whole? Does this bring more competition, more excitement to the fan base? What does Messi? Because Messi's an older player,
Yeah.
correct? Does his age play a factor? One, and does he have that type of star power?
Yeah.
I think he does. I mean, you see the reaction from people. You see the ticket sales jump. He definitely will bring that when Miami goes to any city, he's definitely going to sell it out. I'd already looked at Sporting plays in Miami. So yeah, and to answer your question about his contract, he was making I think $41 million with PSG. He had a 2-year deal, $41 million per year. And in Miami, he's making $45 million per year. So it's a little jump, but he's got a 3-year deal, 4-year deal actually. So it's around like between $125 to $150 million that he's gonna make.
And does this start a trend of more bigger international players coming to the MLS league? Do you think?
I think it does because we heard about I think it was Messi maybe when Sporting KC was linked to getting Messi too, or was it Neymar? It was one of them. But anyway, I think there is a trend for folks to be able to, as long as they're able to pay. I mean, because we talk about Live Golf and in the PGA. I mean, as long as the United States and these owners are willing to pay for these guys to come over. I mean, it's a $3 million difference that he's making over what he was getting in PSG. So just to make it worth their while and make them feel comfortable. Now, would I think one of these international guys would want to come to Kansas City? Maybe not. But to Miami, where people go to, it's a destination already.
Yeah.
Or like a Las Vegas or LA, like the Galaxy, or New York with the Red Bulls. I think teams like that, yes, but these Midwestern, Colorado Rapids, you get the what is it, Minnesota team. Nah, I don't think the Midwest would have a shot at getting any of those guys.
I definitely think part of it is like the wow factor if they do come over here. But I think it'll be interesting because he's a worldwide legend. So like you said, overseas and stuff like that. Yeah, like in ways you could say that them going from those leagues to MLS is like sandbagging or like easy for them. So I think it's going to be interesting if like other guys over there see the success that they have here. Do they come or do they stick to the challenge of being in the worldwide leagues? I don't know. I could see it going both ways.
And two, I don't know. I wonder from the ownership side of it, are you expecting him, because Messi's older, right? Like, he's on his way out.
Yeah, that was my thing.
Are you expecting him to change the face of your organization as far as sell tickets? Or are you wanting him to come in and help the team win? Like,
I think it's definitely tickets.
I think it's ticket sales.
Ticket sales and I mean, so from looking at it from that standpoint, I mean, it's a win-win. So basically, it's a brand, it's an advertiser. You're spending $150 million in advertising.
Yeah,
literally.
Basically.
And Ronaldo is who I was thinking about.
Yeah,
that just signed a $200 million with Saudi Arabia. I said Neymar.
So that was Ronaldo that was linked to Sporting KC and Patrick Mahomes and all that. So yeah.
And I think that's going to be more the trend of like guys on their way out of their international careers, then they come over to the MLS for like a home stretch, home run, last little bit, so they can have their success and their like shining moment here. I don't think it'll be a first move thing for them to come to the MLS first.
And you know what's interesting? It's vice versa now, because we were seeing like what it is so these MLS teams, they loan players to the international leagues and they go and they get contracts over there.
Right.
I mean, we saw it with a bunch of Sporting KC players that are on loan, to other teams in the international league. And now these guys, like you said, are leaving the international play and coming over to wonder what that's like. Like to come over to another team in a whole nother country.
Yeah.
Well, and I know at least like when I was playing college ball, it was consistent, like the foreign exchange students coming, because that's a universal sport. So it was interesting seeing that transition, and just because obviously soccer is their football of
Yep.
American. They're literally football in literal terms too. Like, so seeing that of like, that's what their worlds revolve around, and them coming over here to where it's not necessarily our number one sport. I wonder how that is like adjusting mentally.
Yeah.
I mean, they still get the support, especially a player like that,
Of
but
course.
I wonder what that's like for sure.
And that's a player I wanted to mention, David Beckham.
Mhm.
How
That was my favorite.
is this
OG
comparable?
player.
Is this a comparable move? Messi coming to the MLS, is this comparable to when David Beckham came to the MLS league?
I think so. I mean, when he came over, he was the face of the LA Galaxy. Like, I remember growing up, that was why I watched the LA Galaxy. That
Face
was
of the
why I was a
MLS.
fan. Yep. So I think he's definitely a second wave. Whether they're both, who's the better athlete, that would be a whole other argument, I think. But I think the same effects on the MLS. And that like transformed. I mean, even then, we didn't see a ton of the international players come over after him. Like, that was just like one bang.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting. I don't know what it's gonna be.
And David Beckham played with the team for 16 years, salary of $6.4 million a year.
Insane.
And I mean,
So look at that.
I mean, and that was in the late 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Late 90s, early 2000s. And I mean, you're looking at now, I mean, Messi's getting 45 a year versus $6 million a year. So I mean, the game has definitely grown in a sense. I think my question surrounding it is how much bigger does he make the MLS league? And I don't, and maybe not bigger. Does he bring more competition? Because I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
okay.
Because I mean,
The levels are way different internationally versus MLS.
everybody has to raise their game now.
Yeah.
I mean, because it and it's a pride thing too. Like, you got Messi out there, you know, the eyes are on you.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to raise your. You're not gonna be able to just be okay with, you know, being, you know, okay, right?
Yeah.
Like, and when I was looking at salaries, right? Like, so the top players with Chicago Fire, he's only making $8 million a year. Top paid
Oh
salary.
wow. Okay. So that's a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, similar to David Beckham. So yeah.
So I mean, you look at sporting players. I mean, sporting salary, top salary is probably, you know, $12 million over the course of 4 or 5 years. I mean, you're getting these 800,000 guys, you're getting 500,000, 125,000 guys. That's a huge difference. It's kind of like a MLB player going down and playing in, you know, AAA, single A, you know, just going down to the minors, right?
And in like the sandbagging sense, so in the Sporting Kansas City's organization, like a lot of those guys are in that organization and working their way up like baseball since you were 13 and 14. So they work all the way up to get to the MLS level, and then the final destination is international level. So for him to do it backwards is like not a slap in the face, but it's like this is easy for him. This is an on your way out type of deal. So, but I like that. I definitely want to see him in person. I think that would be super dope.
And it's an FU to international soccer.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
And that's what I think that's what I'm wondering, if American soccer is gaining more currency. Well, maybe not currency, but like relevance.
What it does, it legitimizes MLS. It with him going to Miami, it legitimizes Miami instantly. So you could basically say, all right, well, I can take Miami and go play, you know, a Barcelona or go play, even though I know they'd get slaughtered, right? But Messi makes them, you know, be a contender.
The talks. And apparently there's just something in the water in Miami at this point, because they've got that, they got the NBA finals, U of Miami in college basketball had their run. Like, what are they drinking in Miami? Because we need to sip. Not that we're doing.
And I mean, it's climate in the beaches too.
Sunshine.
I wouldn't have my feelings hurt if I got paid $45 million a year to live by a beach.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Now, PGA Tour agrees to merge with the Saudi-backed rival Live Golf. Steve, you're the golfer of the group. What are your thoughts?
And I've been talking about Live for the longest amount of time. Like,
we've been talking about it almost a year, haven't we?
Yeah. I mean, I love Live Golf. Like, I watch it all the time. And the only reason that the PGA and guys on the tour were upset was because they were going to play players a substantial amount of money to come and play in their tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you go from the PGA going from
we'll ban you.
Anybody going over to play and live golf will ban you for life to now this. It's crazy, man. Like when I saw this, I was like, wait, what? This is the ultimate get down and lay down. We're gonna push y'all through. And I think that the PGA will be no more. Like it's going to become live golf.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have the deeper pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes sense. Now, for all the golfers that did not want to go to live, like Tiger, I mean, they offered Tiger almost $1 billion to come and play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's the driver, the pushback to not go to live?
I mean, you're getting the Saudi money. You don't know where it's coming from. Okay. It's the,
the human rights violations
the political,
they're
the political things that they talk about, their agenda. Like, what is their agenda, right?
Like, would you be beheaded for missing a putt?
Yeah,
that could have won people money.
Yeah,
like it's a lot of question marks.
The moral, moral than it is.
Well, and yes, because I mean, what type of morality do you have to say, hey, you guys are forbidden to go do this thing that we're about to go do in a couple of months? Like we were just talking about this, 6 months ago, maybe. Yeah. So it's a head scratcher. Because if I'm Tiger Woods, how do I feel about that? Like Tiger Woods freshly pressed his cape to say he doesn't he's not gonna leave like these other players that left. No. He's not gonna take that leap, and then they turn around and do this. Like I don't understand that, and I hate that Tiger felt like he needed to have that much of an allegiance to the PGA. Like I don't think he owes the PGA anything. And I wish he would have taken that $100 million to go over there, because that,
and it's a smart move from the PGA, to be honest. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, everybody knows golf is a white man's game, right? Like black people or people of color weren't supposed to play golf. I mean, Tiger Woods broke a lot of those color barriers just because how good he was. I mean, you think about when I think about 1997 when Tiger won the Masters, they started to Tiger-proof courses because he was driving 300 plus, 320, 340, and they made the courses longer because, okay, we can't have this black man out here out driving us in tournaments. So we'll make the holes longer. We'll make the courses tougher. So they called it Tiger proofing. Right. And so now when you think about the PGA and then here comes this live golf, it's like, oh, well, what is this? It's a foreign company basically that wants to come in and infiltrate yet again our white man's golf.
True.
So we don't want that. And you have all these golfers like, oh, well, I'll go over and play, but you got to pay me X amount of dollars. So what did Live Golf do? They said, okay, what do you want? How much do you want? How much will it take for you to come from PGA? No matter if they're willing to ban you or if because golf is a brotherhood like any sport. So when those golfers were looked at negatively by the other golfers, it's like, all right, well, I'm making X amount of dollars, so it doesn't matter.
True.
So now it's like, all right, PGA's, we got all these guys going over there. They spending a lot of money. What can we do? We need some of that money. Let's talk merger.
Yeah. And then, I mean, the competition level, just as we spoke about with soccer between the MLS and the Euro League and how the Euro League is that much better. Do you think some guys had a worry about the level of competition in Live Golf versus the PGA?
No, because the same guys are playing. I mean, you're getting the same guys that are. I mean, you look at the Masters, or you look at the U.S. Open. All those guys, same guys who won. And you're getting Phil Mickelson, whether he plays in Live Golf or whether he plays in the PGA, it's still going to be Phil Mickelson, right? So, I mean, you're still going to have the top guys, that are, of course, the ones that wanted to stay with PGA, but then you have the other ones that went over to live. It's like, I'm still ranked number 10 in the world, no matter what. So it's golf is golf, no matter what.
True. Now, Missouri hires Kerrick Jackson as first black head baseball coach in SEC history.
Yeah.
Q, your thoughts on this one? You're the baseball player.
And he came from Southern University. That's
Drop
that's
the
what
mic.
I'm talking about. But no, I like it. I like it. One, setting a milestone. We just talked about Tiger breaking a barrier. He's breaking a barrier about becoming the first black head coach within the SEC. So that's a barrier broken. So that puts more pressure on like the Urban Youth Academy here to become more diverse. There's a lot of reverberations that could come from this. And if MU plays their cards right, they could really not necessarily make him the face of the team, but he can be an attraction to talent that comes to that team. And especially from, he looks fairly young. I would guess he's in his 30s, early 40s. So again, like youth behind that, black people being able to make the sport more cool with more visibility. I think this is a step in the right direction, but that's one step versus the next million that need to be made for the game of baseball.
Definitely. And I think we've talked about it so much with youth baseball about listening to and being coached by and seeing players that look like me. And I think that's huge, especially for Mizzou, because even when I was in college, there was the whole controversy behind the columns and what those represented and stuff like that. So I think this was a big step for the university as a whole in the right direction, not just baseball.
And I look at this is as big as Dion going to HBCU to me, because he's the first black baseball coach in SEC history. Like that's huge, because who wins the Major League World Series almost year in and year out? It's an SEC team. And so I think, like you said, Jazz, black players want to see coaches that look like them. Does it take away from kids going to another school? I think it does. Because you look at where Mizzou was ranked at. I went down a rabbit hole this week looking at this. You look at where Mizzou is ranked currently. Last year they were third to last out of 14 teams.
Oh wow!
In the SEC, they were like 10 and 20. The only other teams was like 9 and 21, and the other was like 7. And so they weren't even at 500. So he has to win. Otherwise, Mizzou's going to say, "Oh, we tried it, and it just didn't work." Right? So he first and foremost he has to win. So, but he has to recruit as well. So he has to be able to. He can go into those homes of the black player and say, "Hey, come to Mizzou. You don't have to go to Arkansas. You don't have to go to a Texas or a big powerhouse school. You can come to Mizzou, and I'm gonna take care of you." Because at the end of the day, these guys want to go to the College World Series in Omaha, and they want to go to Major League Baseball. That's where they want to go.
And I'm hoping he doesn't have to win right now.
Oh yeah, he has to. He has to turn it around.
I'm hoping for him. They give him enough rope to be able to change the culture, for one, to make it a winning culture. You going from third to last, and then only giving this guy 2-3 years to win. I think he needs more than that. But I'm hopeful for him that he's able to change this culture, bring in the talent he needs, and really gets the resources that he needs. Because you need that as well. The coach is only as good as the school allows him to be. So hopefully he could bring in that winning, and maybe the first year they bump up to the middle of the road versus third to last. Like that's
No, they didn't bring him in to be middle of the road. I can definitely say that they brought him in. I mean, he has a track record of winning, and so that's why they brought him in. They want to be able to make a tournament appearance. I mean, the last coach, I think Steve Beisner, he got them to no tournament appearances in 7 seasons that he coached with them.
And that's what I'm
So
saying.
he has to make a tournament.
He
At least
got 7 seasons.
At least make the tournament.
He needs at least 5 here.
No. It's a quick turnaround. He's first of all, he's already on a short leash.
But that's what I'm saying. They wasted 7 seasons already.
He's got if he doesn't make the tournament this year, he's got next year, and then they're gonna start questioning him.
And I think that's too quick.
It's just how it's college sports, man. They want to win. They want to win now. I mean, that's why they brought you in. This is a nationwide story. So now the microscope's going to be at Mizzou baseball.
Yeah.
So he's got to win,
and I hope they give him the resources to win.
Of course. But then again, it's on him too to be able to recruit, because he has to go. I mean, he was at He was at Southern. He was also at Memphis. So he's got to go, and the South, you got to recruit. Got to go down to Florida. Whether you bring in a Latin player, whether you bring in a player from some Kansas City kids that are good. So you got to be able to recruit your own backyard too. I mean, look at the Bubba Starlings. Would Bubba's career? And I was talking about this yesterday. Would Bubba's career be longer if he played college baseball? And not gone to straight to
because he jumped straight to the league.
Yeah. So I mean, if he went to, I think, Nebraska, if he went there, would he still at 30? Would he still be playing baseball?
Yeah,
I think he would.
Now, College Football Players Association calls for boycott of EA Sports after athletes are offered $500 for NIL and says it's a bad deal.
Oh man,
very bad deal.
I looked at this 2 different ways. I looked at this as from the professional way. Like, if you guys can remember when COVID hit, when LeBron said, and I'm just looking at it from the NBA standpoint, when LeBron was like, "Oh no, we're not gonna play," or even when they were boycotting in the bubble, we're not gonna play. What did some of the lower tier guys say? Nah, man, I need my bread. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need my money. And a lot of times when there's a strike that's pending, the lower tier players in the Players Association, they don't want. I mean, you get these high paid athletes. They like, fine, I'm good with striking. I'm for the cause. I'm for the culture. But the younger tier players, like, man, I got this house note. I got my family. Like, this is how I'm not getting $10 million like you. I'm getting $100,000. I'm getting the small change. So I gotta play. So I'm not for it. Right. I look at this as the same way. I look at this as, man, that $500 can do something for me. Right, like, you get the bottom tier player, and I know it's a bigger picture,
exactly.
But that $500. Remember when you was at? What could $500 do for you when you were in college? A lot.
When I was in college in the early 2000s, it would do a lot.
Right,
for a college student in 2023, I don't think that buys a book.
College ain't changed. I mean, it hasn't changed.
Hey, books have gone up.
No, that's what I'm saying. But you're freshly from college. Like, what could $500 do? $500 or nothing. If that's the case.
Yeah, I think that's 2 books.
That wouldn't get you past registration.
And we talking about athletes, though. We're not talking about, they're not buying books. We're talking about $500 that,
We had to buy a couple, definitely. Your freshman year, you're fresh in the, you're just getting your prereqs out the way.
I would buy
just
no
in
books.
the door.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what are you going to spend $500 on? If you're in Lawrence, Kansas, one, your apartment, your room that you rent in your apartment is probably going to be double.
I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about going. If I'm in Lawrence, I'm worried about going to Brothers. I'm worried about what this $500 going to do for me next weekend. You worried about the wrong
things, like my daddy said.
But we talking about a 19, 20-year-old, like $500.
A 19 or 20-year-old that now is coming up in the NIL era that you can make.
Not all of them. My point was, not all of them are getting that. Like, you're getting some that's getting $100,000. You're getting some that's getting absolutely zero. We're talking about. We're not talking about basketball team. We're talking about a football team, a 90-man college football roster.
If I'm on a football team or at a D1 school, that's going to put my name on the EA Sports game, I need a lot more than $500 for a season.
And I agree with that. However, if they go on strike, they get nothing. I mean, you and again,
so I'm
you're still going to have those $100,000 kids who are getting the bag, no matter if they get this or not. This is just another thing that's going to add more money to them. But you got the other kids that are not getting anything.
And I think most of the athletes are going to go with the boycott, because I wouldn't want my name on there for $500 is a slap in the face.
Yeah, definitely. And you can always ride the wave for the bigger bag. Be patient. Ride the wave.
That's what I'm saying.
And it might pay off more in the end.
Okay, I'm just saying $500 is still. I mean, it's some chump change, but for a college athlete who, I mean, mama probably got to pay a bill or two. That $500 can go to that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you speaking to early 2000s, Steve. And the early 2000s.
Maybe I'm just blinded by when I was in school. But like,
I don't know if you've heard of this little thing called inflation.
Man. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we will discuss Tom Brady and gambling. This is the W Show. Keep it locked in. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC We Spin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC We Spin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC We Spin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC We Spin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
FPS Security is here to secure greater KC protection where you need them most. Social events, birthday parties, corporate events, weddings, small businesses, and more. Call FPS Security at 816-379-3600 or visit fpssecuritykc.com. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Reliable, fast, and professional service.
Football fans, you can't spell gate without Gates, and great tailgates start with Gates sauces and seasonings. Named synonymous with mouth-watering tailgates. When you make your list of tailgate essentials, add Gates sauces and seasonings to that list. Spice up your tailgate experience with that unmistakable great taste. Available in 4 tantalizing flavors. Classic, sweet, mild, and hot. Find it at your local grocer, and if you don't see it, ask for it. Visit GatesBarbecue.com to purchase any of the great sauces and seasonings. Great tailgates start with Gates.
The views and you're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Side note. Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it. Message us and we'll talk about whatever topic you want. NFL tabbed Tom Brady to record message to players about gambling policy.
I thought about this. I'm like, nobody let me rephrase that. You get some players that care, right? Like, you get some player, Tom Brady, a recorded message. Wow. Like, okay, but then I want to hear from the players that got suspended. You know, like, give me Calvin Ridley. Have that be one of his consequences for getting suspended. Keep it real.
But that's more of a joke, because if I saw that person, I'm going to be like, I'm not listening to you. You the one that went down for it. I want to listen to the good example. I mean, yes, yeah.
They can only tell you from experience, like, hey, I lost X amount of dollars. Like, I'm Calvin Ridley. Like, Calvin Ridley is a name still in the league that people got to respect. And I get it, Tom Brady, but what dirt has Tom Brady done except deflate footballs? That has nothing to do with gambling.
So you must be the type that likes the smokers commercials where it's like the people that sound like the super raspy.
Yeah.
You want to hear from them.
Exactly. Do I want to have a hole in my neck? No. I want to hear from you. How did you get this hole in your neck? Because I smoke cigarettes. Okay, well then I won't go smoke cigarettes.
Okay.
Point me to the guy who put his hand on the stove to let me know that it was hot, so that I won't put my hand on the stove.
No, definitely. I mean, I don't understand the messaging. I don't even know if people look up to Tom Brady like that. Players in the league look up to, like, I don't. Yeah, I think that's a stretch. And then wasn't there a guy just recently that just got suspended for?
Yeah, we'll dive into him. Yeah.
Now, MLB games postponed due to smoke from Canadian wildfires.
It's crazy.
This is insane. The pictures, like seeing the pictures on social media, and I have a couple friends that live in New York, and just like pictures from their apartments, and you can't see through. Like it literally is straight fog. People putting towels underneath their door, like the apartment doors.
Better get you a gas mask.
That's wild. Like it looked like some GTA stuff when they were showing pictures of the stadiums. Like
you know about GTA?
I know a little bit. It looked like some GTA stuff. Crazy.
It looked nuts.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine, like, even now. I do have asthma. Like playing in that, I wonder how that's affecting players and stuff, or like training.
They've canceled indoor. Yeah, indoor. Like the basketball game got canceled. Women WNBA games. Yeah.
Aaron Judge's toe injury causes Dodgers to reinforce stadium fence and add padding. Let's see what happened.
Out, 8th inning. Crack down the line. Back to the corner goes Judge. It is caught by Aaron Judge. Wow. It is so much more than just the home runs. He is Superman.
Superman.
Yeah, that looks silly.
Yeah, that catch was dope. But yeah, they're gonna do some changes to that, because I mean it looked like there was a little step that was right there that he ran into. Like,
no, that's what I'm saying. That looks silly having that gate right there, like that big old gate. Like, why is it not just like a small door or something like that? Yeah, that
already looks like a risk.
That just, I mean, it looks like horrible stadium design, and that.
Now they know. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll dive into our Hate It or Love It segment. Keep it locked in. This is W Show. We'll be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Come spin with us, Kansas City. KC We Spin 360 is the coolest 360 video spinner experience for events. KC We Spin 360 is taking it to the next level. The 360 video spinner platform rental will be the life of the party. Everyone will be talking about their 360 video experience while bragging about it on their social media pages. The captivating slow motion and reverse effects will have your guests feeling like celebrities. The KC We Spin 360 video spinner can capture slow-mo videos, GIFs, and boomerangs from every angle. Specializing in corporate events, weddings, social gatherings, bar bat mitzvahs, school events, and fundraisers, KC We Spin 360 can be found online at kcwespin360.com. Come spin with us, Kansas City.
FPS Security is here to secure greater KC protection where you need them most. Social events, birthday parties, corporate events, weddings, small businesses, and more. Call FPS Security at 816-379-3600 or visit fpssecuritykc.com. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Reliable, fast, and professional service.
Football fans, you can't spell gate without Gates, and great tailgates start with Gates sauces and seasonings. Named synonymous with mouth-watering tailgates. When you make your list of tailgate essentials, add Gates sauces and seasonings to that list. Spice up your tailgate experience with that unmistakable great taste. Available in 4 tantalizing flavors: classic, sweet, mild, and hot. Find it at your local grocer, and if you don't see it, ask for it. Visit GatesBarbecue.com. Purchase any of the great sauces and seasonings. Great tailgates start with Gates.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it. Message us. We'll talk about whatever topic.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Starting off our sneakers of the week, we have the Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG Washed Heritage.
Fire. I like these. These are fire.
Definitely fire. Puma MB02BUs.
Mellow ball, baby. I love these. These are fire. These are fire. I know. Only person I know that feels me with these mellow balls is Broderick.
Q, how are you feeling?
I throw these in the trash.
Fire. These are fire.
They kind of give Skechers vibes or something. I don't know. Maybe to hoop in them, but
hoops.
Please bring back Big Baller Brand.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pass on these ones. I'm with Q.
Super pass.
The Air Jordan 5 Low Women's Festival Lights.
Fire. He's dope.
I don't really like lows, but these are okay.
I think those might be my favorite this week, honestly, because I'm not a big fan of highs, so I can rock them. Nike Air Max 1 Puerto Rican Dan Orange Frost.
Fire.
Those are good summer shoes.
Fire. Yep.
Yeah, because I think these are my favorites of the
What?
week.
You on a Papa Color wave now?
Okay.
All
For
right.
summer, yeah.
Okay.
Can't have all the monochrome for summer. That's
All right.
comes in waves, Steve.
All
You gotta
right.
know the seasons.
Okay.
I'd rock them. Q.
No, I think these are my favorites of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Winners. Bills QB Josh Allen on Madden NFL 24 video game cover. Hate it or love
Man, they trying to make this dude like you trying to make this dude like be what he ain't. He ain't it. It ain't him. He's not. Y'all can say what you want, but it's not. He ain't him. Man, yeah.
it. Your thoughts?
I mean, I don't. It doesn't matter to me who's on the
Yeah.
Madden cover.
It ain't your boy. That's all we know.
Yeah, I mean it.
Yeah,
Isn't it a curse though?
Yeah, well, Patrick broke the curse. Patrick broke the curse.
Q, is it a curse? Do you think that Patrick officially broke the curse?
No, I mean I think Roger's right. I think Brady broke the curse because didn't he win?
Stop it.
Yeah,
Stop it.
So I mean, yeah, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna skip over that just to say Pat did it first. I mean, Pat
either
did
way,
it.
he Josh Allen shouldn't. What has he won?
I mean, I think
Joe Burrow should have been it.
My opinion,
I would see Joe Burrow before Josh Allen.
My opinion, I think someone with a little more swag needs to be on the cover.
Joey B.
And it's not Josh Allen, but I mean,
Josh Allen got swag.
I think they're forcing it a little bit. I'm kind of with Steve on this one.
yeah.
I think
There's
they're
a
forcing
They're
it.
trying so hard, man. We need his PR guy because whoever his
He's
PR
working
guy is,
there.
they moving him, man.
Moving and grooving. Now, Diana Taurasi has a big issue with comparing women's basketball players to NBA stars. Hate it or love it.
I have mixed emotions about this. I think it's cool sometimes when they do it, but not all the time. If that makes sense.
I have to agree on this one big time because in my eyes, looking from a woman's perspective and how a man would feel if he was compared to a women's great.
All right. I like that.
Like, I think that it's almost conditioned or we're so used to comparing to men that it's like, okay, and women have just gone with it and seen it as a compliment in ways because that's who's always mentioned when it's the greats. But why, if it was flipped, a man would feel some type of way.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the comparisons either because I mean it's the NBA that it's a storied league. All of these different generations of I don't want to make that comparison. But I also like the strides that the women game is making because it's we talked a lot more about the women's champion in college basketball than we did the men's.
But can there be a comparison? Let's just say, oh well, she's the LeBron of the league. Of the WNBA right now.
So why can't she be a WNBA great?
Why couldn't she be the Cheryl Swoops? Of
Yeah.
I mean, I will. Okay.
As a woman, that would be a bigger
Jordan,
compliment
or like
for me.
she's a Jordan of the league.
No, because
she's a goat.
Still Cheryl Swoops.
Yeah.
Like why are we not talking about her? I mean, yeah,
cool.
She superfan added to most wanted list while still on the run after alleged bank robbery. The Wolves.
My dude. It's my dude, man. He cool. Yeah, he cool,
is
man.
Is that who crashed into the gate while you were there?
Might have been.
Never know at this rate. Colts Isaiah Rodgers could face lifetime ban from NFL after his gambling incident.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. They said his bet. One of his bets was he was betting on who the next coach would be for the Indianapolis Colts. That was one of his bets. Like, come on, bro. Come on, dog. Yeah, we appreciate everyone who joined in on today's show. Keep the comments coming. Remember, you can rewatch our show on Mondays. Listen, 100.1 FM. Like us on all social media platforms. Until next week, we are out of here. Peace.
The views and opinions expressed on the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, One Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundations, or affiliates.